So, today is the day that we are supposed to close on this RV. We were supposed to close 2 weeks ago, but we threw the brakes on that because of some regulations, and I had to get pre-approval because my schemes became less viable, apparently, and that was very disappointing to have to do. And I get very excited about things, very excitable, and very impulsive sometimes. That would be like the dark side of that coin. But that's a good thing. It can be a good thing because that enables me to seize opportunities that a lot of people let slip. And unfortunately, by the time I get into the weeds of where those opportunities take me, I think to myself, how have I gotten here in this life? But I seem to make it work all right. We're supposed to close in about an hour. And I'm not going to say I'm not very anxious. I am. I am very anxious about this. It's not terrifying, but it's very heavy. I have looked at our budget again and again and again. My wife and I, we've projected different financial scenarios. What if we get one thing? What if we don't? Payoff timelines, current debts, bills, fluctuations based on historical data. Like, she is very finite business mind, as in she likes data points down to the tenth of a penny. And I am very intuitive. I can do the finite stuff, but the reality is between those two. You have to be able to operate between those two, because if you're ever finite, it's very difficult to respond to catastrophes that come. And if you're only intuitive, you'll never have any money to work with. And I've largely been like that most of my life, where money is it's like a river that flows through me, and I'm just along the ride through the rapids. But this RV, this turtle, this is a real risk. Like, if it doesn't work, we stand to lose a lot. I don't think we'll lose our house or anything, because I have been in some very, very tight situations in my life. But that doesn't mean we don't stand to lose a lot from what we have now, and it's relying mostly on me. My wife helps me. She helps me so much. She does a lot of the financial stuff. She does a lot of the costing. I used to do that stuff. She's helped to hone down our operational expenses into something that is very well defined and very, we know where we make our money. We know where we don't. Like, exactly, because of her efforts, and that's been very helpful. I know where I make the money because I know how big people smile when they try the stuff. I'm more intuitive, I'm more creative, but I don't know, it's scary. It's scary to sign up for this because I know what it feels like to fail. I have tried and failed at so many things in my life. I am no stranger to that feeling, that wretched feeling of having to get up that next morning, take a look at the state of your life, and figure out, what losses do I cut? What sacrifices have I made, and what losses do I just have to eat and drive forward? I dropped out of school, college, like 3 times for different reasons each time. I was not a very good soldier. I wasn't a bad soldier. I never got in any trouble or anything. I flew largely under the radar. I never got very far with it. I detested being a soldier. I would consider that basically, I wouldn't say a failure, but it wasn't a success. I didn't progress in a career with the Army the way a lot of people do. I just got in and it was horrible and I got out. I tried at least 5 or 6 different majors in my undergrad, trying to figure out a pathway through it, and I failed at each one of those. I used to fail classes. I failed at a bunch of jobs. You could look at it as a failure, or you could look at it of, I'm so miserable that I literally cannot make myself do this for one more day. And I would go find something else to do. Usually go back to school again, because it was the lesser of 2 evils. At this point, it's much more scary. Back then, in previous times in my life, I was basically homeless. I could fit everything that I owned into my car or my truck. I had an old beat up Chevy Silverado. It was terrible. And I could just go and live like that. And I did many times, and it was not fun at all, or glamorous, or otherwise. A lot of couch surfing, a lot of relying on the generosity of my friends, my parents, some rough sleeping. I remember sleeping in the parking structure of the university I used to go to, and the cops would come tap on the window. They're like, "You can't sleep here." And I'm like, "Why? It's empty." And they're like, "You can't sleep here." And I'm like, "God, you have to go move my freaking car." So I stand to lose a lot more now. I have a lot more to lose. I have a life now. And taking risks like this, like I haven't taken a risk, I feel like, in years. Everything since I've been married, I have proceeded on very solid ground. I operate completely within the green anymore. I don't usually get near the yellow. I certainly never dip into the red. And this one, it's putting us in the yellow. It could put us in the red for a bit. And it's not like we don't have contingencies and safety nets. We do. But it's scary to revisit this exhilaration. But I think that it's worth risking, because when I vend food to people, that is the very best version of myself. The best version of me that I have to give to other people is the guy that is cooking them food. That is how I express everything that I love about this life comes out in that. That is my ability to be scientific. Let's be real for a second. I'm really not the best scientist. I'm not the worst by any stretch of the imagination, but in that stratum of intellects and competencies, I'm mediocre at best, which is fine. You don't have to be exceptional. Most people aren't. But the way that I use food to express my creativity, that's where it explodes. That's where I use food to express my love for other people. I know that sounds weird, but it's true. When I'm excited to see you after I haven't seen you in a long time, the very first thing that I want to do is cook you my best dish, whatever that is, whatever I have refined at that point. I want to show you. I want to show you the best thing I've learned in this life immediately. And that is always something that I can cook for you. That's why I'm going to pursue this. Because even if I fail, and it's very likely that I'll fail. Knox County is actually not that big. And there's over 200 food trucks, permitted food trucks, not just food trucks, just the ones with permits that are legit, that operate in Knox County in the city of Knoxville. And to step into their arena, it is daunting. They have capital. A lot of them have brick and mortar stores. They have the commercial equipment. They have the crew. They have the vehicles that look like food trucks. They're professional. And we're going to try to take an RV and paint a chalkboard into it, write a menu on it right under the awning, and compete with these people who have been doing it for years, and they're seasoned, and they have their business model. And it's daunting. It's very daunting. It was like trying to step into the world of science. I'm completing my 8th semester, and I didn't take summers off, and I didn't get winters off. So 4 straight years of PhD education. Just now, I am detecting errors that I made earlier in my career, and I'm finding little errors in my spreadsheets that I made in my 2nd semester, and they have been hamstringing my progress. But I'm at a point of competency now where I look at something and I know it's not right, and I immediately start digging, and then I find it and I'm like, oh my God. And then when I reconduct the experiments, I do it with a type of efficiency and speed that previous versions of myself wouldn't even believe that are possible. And I'm able to look at the data that I produce and think this makes sense, or this doesn't make sense, or this is a finding, or this is a protein loading concentration error, or this is a gel transfer error, or this is real. This is the effects of a treatment rather than some error that I made. Like, I'm at a point where I can pick that out now. I can pick that out in other people's research. I can pick that out in my own research. It's good. I don't know. I'm not really ranting. I got a lot of anxiety about this. It's the first real risk since I've been married. And we're not risking the house or anything, but we are risking our comfort. We are risking this little island of peace of mind that we have carved out for ourselves. And that is a huge risk considering where we came from. But I'm going to take this risk because I feel like it's the most logical path forward for me to, do what I love to do, which is make food for people that is so good that they can't believe that I made this. They say, it's better than any restaurant food they've ever had. They're in disbelief a lot of times that I'm capable of this, and it brings me joy. It brings me absolute joy. The purest joy I have experienced in this life so far, to get to share that part of myself that I didn't even know existed for so long with somebody else, and then they feel it too. That human connection. It's, I have to pursue this. I will pursue this in some form. Maybe this RV thing won't work out. I don't know. But even if that is the case, I will pursue that in some capacity in my life, because it has become a defining feature of what I love about this slice of time that I have on this planet. It's very short. It's been mostly painful. It's had a few little light spots, but otherwise it's basically been trying to get to Mordor. I feel like it's the most logical path forward for me, because I will pursue this no matter what. That's been the story of my life. A lot of stuff does not work out, but that won't stop me. That's tenacity that I have. I will not be stopped by something like this. I will find a different way. I always do. I always find a different way forward. And it's very important to me that I pursue something that's meaningful in my life. Well, if you like these updates, toss us a subscribe, leave a comment. It would help us out a lot. Thanks for tuning in. Thank you.